Alright, hello everyone again, it's me, Marcus. Want to make a quick video today. I have made a video on languages this year, so might as well change that right now. I've only made one video so far, so yeah, I'm going to start making more videos in the coming months and so. And so I've seen a few videos recently about kind of like language tag and kind of got interested in it. So I saw a video from Steve, Maria, and Miss Sol, and there's a guy from Canada as well, really cool guy. And so I thought that I might as well do the same thing, have a little free time. So have the questions right here, and yeah, so I'll probably make this a response video to Maria Athena. So okay, here we go. What do you consider to be your native language? English. I don't know if some people don't know that English is my first language, my mother tongue. Um, my parents both speak English. I guess, yeah. So I don't. My dad speaks English with kind of like a little accent, and my mom speaks as I do. Um, but yeah, they both speak English. I didn't grow up with English in another language, and so yeah. Um, what was your first language learning experience? Yeah, so I didn't really learn anything until high school. My first language experience was my first language was Spanish, and I did that from my first year of high school until I did it 4 years in high school, and then I did Spanish for one semester at my first university, and yeah, it was a really good experience. It was my favorite subject in school and high school, and that first semester at the university, and yeah, so that was Spanish. So, what languages have you? That's the third question. What languages have you studied, and why did you start them? Uh, so Spanish, there was only, I guess, I had to pick a language in high school my first year, so there was the option of Spanish, French, or Latin, and because I wanted to kind of fit in with the cool people, I chose Spanish because everyone was choosing Spanish. There were maybe 10 Spanish classes or so, and one French class, and the French teacher was kind of scary, so it really intimidated me to take a French class. And then there was Latin, and Latin just seems, I don't know, didn't want to learn it. So, but does seem really intriguing now, Latin. I learned French now, so it's kind of interesting how that played out. um, and Spanish, I think I learned it because it was the easiest of the three languages as well. But the more I learned it, the more interested I got in the language as well. Um, until German and French and all that stuff. But um, so I guess Spanish was interesting because, and the reason I started learning German was because it was kind of due to Spanish. Um, so I transferred universities. I went to the University of Missouri, and so I was late. I guess I wasn't late, but I was a transfer student, so I wanted to take another Spanish class, and because I had planned on taking a different Spanish class at a different university my first university, and so when I had transferred to Mizzou, um, when I transferred to Mizzou, I wanted to take the kind of the equivalent Spanish class, but of course everyone takes Spanish, or most people take Spanish, so the class was filled. Um, so there weren't any more spots available, so they just told me, yeah, I'm sorry, you have to wait till next semester, and I was like, oh, okay, so what am I going to do with my Spanish? So I kind of thought it over. Over the semester, I didn't take any language classes that semester, and I thought it over, and um, I had decided to take a German class, and kind of to suffice my curiosity on the language. Um, it's really interesting. I don't know if I've said this before, but um, I had to take an entrance exam to Spanish at the first university that I went to, and I tested out of Spanish 1 and 2, and so I had to take Spanish 3. If I had if I had gotten one more point right on that exam, then I would have tested out of Spanish 3, and I would have gone into a different Spanish, Spanish 4 or something. And then when I went to Mizzou, I could have gone into Spanish 5 or something, and I could have kept going with my Spanish. So if it weren't for that one point that I missed, then I probably wouldn't have learned German. So because I probably would have stuck with Spanish. So that was probably the best mistake of my life. The whichever mistake I missed on that test. So um, German. So I wanted to I was always interested in the language. I had heard it a few times, and it was really an intimidating language, or it still is. I mean, it was when I didn't understand anything in the language, and it was intimidating and beautiful in a way. So I wanted to take a German class, so German 1, German 2, and I just kept going with it, and I still kind of busy myself with the language today. Um, so let's see, that's Spanish, German, and French. I had gone to France when I was living in Germany, and I don't know. I didn't. It was really embarrassing for me because I didn't speak any French at the time, and I mean, there was a really weird thing that happened to me, and where that I don't know. I should have known French, that I could have told this guy to stop bugging me, because he was kind of following me home and being a stalker. So that was kind of creepy, but I had heard the language and when I was in Paris, and I just kind of fell in love with it a little bit. And I had taken a course in French when I was at the university in Cologne, and that was just a semester. I had learned a little bit of French, but the class really wasn't good. Can't really learn a language with 200 other people. Maybe you can. Um, and I had stopped learning French later on, but I picked it back up. But the reason I started learning it was because um, I don't know, it's just like such a beautiful language, and then I just felt like uh, I don't know, whenever I feel like I shouldn't do something, then I want to do it even more. And for some reason, like French is kind of like a secret language to me. Like, oh, what are they saying? So I felt like that I had to learn the language, that I had to start learning the language so that I could kind of get out these secrets, because it's such a lovely language, and yeah, and it's a sweet language as well, and it kind of um, it's my sweet language, and German's kind of like my uh, intimidating, more masculine language, so to say, and yeah, I think they go together. Um, oh yeah, so I had recently thought about learning Polish as well, and I didn't really learn it, but I wanted to learn it because I wanted to get into a Slavic language. I think Polish is beautiful. I might get into it later. I'm not sure, but I really like the Polish language. It's just really interesting with the complex grammar and stuff like that. Um, I think that's all I've been learning right for now. Um, okay, number 4. How does your personality affect how you learn languages? Kind of an extreme person with most things I like to do, with my hobbies, be it training or language learning, or anything I like to do. I kind of like to do it to the utmost, and I want to do it at 100%. And so I want to kind of like analyze everything, and is this improving here? Is this improving here? I'm very analytical, and it makes me really, really want to get really deep into the language. So that's why I can't really rest on my laurels with German. I won't be able to do that with French as well. So I guess once I get hooked onto the language, so I'm hooked officially on 2 languages now, German and French, and I just don't want to stop. So it's like something I can't. I have that personality type where if I do something, then I can't really stop doing it. It's kind of like an addiction. So I want to feed my addiction and learn the most I can, and get really, really deep as well. So that makes me really interested in the language that I learn. It makes it hard for me to start a new language. With French, I have the problem sometimes because I am really distracted. I get really distracted because of German, or reading in German, reading, writing, just doing anything, reading or listening to podcasts and stuff as well. I get distracted from time to time, so I think that German and French will be, I don't know if they'll be enough for me. I mean, I'll go over, there's a question later, like, what do you want to learn later? I'll go into that later, but it's kind of really extreme and passionate, and um, I don't know, like, also, I want to show reverence for the language, and that's why I only learn a few languages at a time, or that I learn a few languages, period. Um, because I get really annoyed if I don't understand something, and I really want to understand as much as possible so that I don't have to go back to English. I really don't like that. I want to show, kind of prove to the other person that that he or she doesn't have to speak English with me. That German or French or whatever language that I may learn or know in the future, um, that it suffices. Um, that they can speak that language with me. Um, okay, number 5. Do you prefer learning languages in a class or individually? Um, Depends. For German, I don't know. I think I would like to learn a language in a class. It kind of depends on the classroom setting. I liked learning German in class. We had really small classes. I guess for the first few classes we had maybe 20 people, which was good. And then by the time I was the last class I needed to get my diploma, there were maybe 6 or 7 kids or 6 or 7 students in the class, and I liked that a lot. Learned a lot, but with classes with 200 people in the class, it's like, what are you doing? You know, I can't really learn this. But I mean, in the university level of German, it wasn't really enough for me. I always wanted to learn more and learn more. I learn a lot of German every day. Um, So I do that individually, and I kind of fill in the gaps that the university didn't learn. Um, and so I think that, and then with French, I do learn French pretty much all by myself. I mean, I did take that one class, but it didn't really do anything. Um, and I learn with my curiosity, and I think that because I've been learning individually by myself, that my French after about a year or so was a lot better than my German after a year. Even though my German blows my French out of the water for now, that goes without saying, because I've had so much experience with German in comparison to French. Um, but I don't know. I like a mixture of the two. Um, like with Polish, for example, if I had had a Polish class, then that would have been really good for grammar and stuff like that, because the language is really difficult to me personally. Um, but yeah, learning it from scratch is really, really hard. I mean, it's possible, but uh, not for now. um, what are your favorite language learning materials? For German, I don't really have any. I just had the books from college, but I do write everything in notebooks. So I guess those are my favorite materials because I can go over and see like, okay, what did I learn at this time of my life or at this part of my life? Um, because I just keep writing them down and I can kind of ballpark when I had learned that word and kind of how I learned that word in some cases. I mean, I remember learning words like skin, 2007. I don't know how I know that, but um, writing things down really helps me out. For French, a few grammar, like a really good grammar book, and I like Asimil as well. I would recommend that wholeheartedly. Um, okay, now question number 7. How much time do you spend actively learning per day, per week? It depends. I don't really know what learning per se is. I mean, what is learning? Like how much time do I deal with the language, occupy myself with the language? I mean, with German, I do make sure that I don't lose vocabulary. I mean, from time to time, I write down new words, um, and I occupy myself with the language a lot. Um, I listen to stuff hours a day, and I'll learn about something else. I'll learn about psychology or something, or philosophy, something else like that, or history. I do that every day, or the linguistics of the language, and kind of analyzing the language like that. I listen to that. So I do that hours a day, and I type to people. I talk to people as well in German and sometimes in dialect if they're from Bavaria. Um, for French, not that much time. I should spend more time. I have been spending more time lately on French. I listen to podcasts sometimes in French, maybe half an hour or so from time to time, not every day. I learn a lot of French just when I'm writing with my friends. I'll be like, how do you say this in French? And then we get in that little mode where I speak in French or I write in French for a little bit. Um, I have this thing where starting in February, I'm gonna only try to speak French in them, or try to only speak French with a few of my friends. With some, I speak French, only French, and I only write in French with them. But I'm trying to be more strict on myself with French. Um, yeah. So it always depends. I spend a lot of time with languages, though. What are your short-term and long-term language goals? Um, Okay, so short term, I would like to be B2 in French by the end of the year. Um, like high B1 or B2 by the end of the year. So that's why I have to get I can't speak English right now. That's why I have to become more strict with myself in terms of the French language. So that's kind of short term in the next year or so. Long term language goals, I want to be C2 in French. I want to be really good in French. And I want to have a really good accent in French as well. I want to lose my American accent in French, even though some people say it's German. But I want to lose that accent in French as well, because I think accents are really important to uh, in respect to language learning. Um, yeah. Okay, so question number 9. What is your favorite language? Okay, you see the flag behind me. I'm gonna say it's German. I love German language. I love the German language. I was always intimidated and fascinated by the language. So when I just fell in love with the language the more I started learning it, and um, German language changed my life. I can't imagine my life without German. Like most of my friends are from Germany, and um, I just love the complexities of the language. I love analyzing the different parts of German, the different types of German. Um, the kind of linguistics of it. Why do these words exist, and why do words die out like that? Stuff like that, and I just always love it, and just seeing how people speak to each other, dialects of German. Why is this dialect popular? Why is this dialect not popular? Um, I just can't get enough of it, and I mean there are things of the language that I don't like, but it's by far my favorite language. Um, yeah, it's like a little love for the language. Okay. Number 10. What is the next language you would or that you want to learn? The next language that I want to learn. Yeah. So because of my love to German, I just realized how much I like Germanic languages. Germanic languages other than English. I do. I mean, English is okay, but I prefer Germanic languages that I don't know, just the sound of it. I'm thinking either Norwegian or Swedish. That is, if my French and German are up to par. I'm not sure if I'll ever let myself say that they are up to par or not, because I'm really hard on myself. Um, but probably a Scandinavian language, so Swedish or Norwegian. I already have stuff for Norwegian. Okay, and I have like 30 seconds left. Okay, what advice can you give to new language learners? Okay, so you can do anything you want. Don't give up, and don't let someone say that you can't do it or actually let them say it and then prove them wrong, and it feels much better in the future. So if there's a will, there's a way, and keep that motivation going. So for like 10 seconds. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope to make more videos in the near future.